Open our third year, Chapter 4, Power Struggles. Just when you thought you'd wrapped up the latest case, Bloom dropped his biggest bombshell so far. This case isn't over until I say it's over. Harper looks stunned, while Ethan sits upright, steely and firm. May I remind you of your promise that we control the team. That specifically includes the choice of which cases to work on. I remember, just like always, you can pick whichever cases happen to interest you. It's just that I get to pick whether you're finished with them or not. Wait, really? I suppose it is your hospital. At the end of the day, all the calls are yours. So glad you're seeing reason, Casey. I strongly disagree. People with no understanding of medicine have no business making the final call for a patient. Please, if that were the case, few patients would be qualified to make decisions about their own treatment. In this case, I'm simply using my power to ensure the patient's decisions are respected. I'm sorry, but I'm confused. How did this even come about? As your patient was going through her discharge paperwork, I had the pleasure of informing her that there were about the trials we're running. She was very eager to take part. What sort of trial are we talking about, anyway? A new protein-binding agent, amoxicillin, I believe it's called. I have the information for you here. Bloom slides a few information pamphlets across the desk, and all three of you begin reading. After a moment, Ethan frowns. I don't understand. This doesn't look like an FDA study protocol I've ever seen. Oh, this is all exploratory, strictly internal. The science is just as rigorous, but we avoid unnecessary red tape. You realize the red tape is there for a reason. If you want to confirm that a particular drug is safe and effective. No, we're not at that stage yet. First, we fail fast and often until we find out what works. Once we do, then we jump through the FDA hoops. It looks like early dosage tests of this drug are showing some harsh side effects. Several cases caused severe liver damage. Oh, small minority. I'd say part of the point of the trial is to get to the dosage, or the right dosage, so that that happens less. You realize amyloidosis can affect the liver, right? In fact, is the drug even for amyloidosis patients? Not exclusively, no, but it's one of the several illnesses being studied. Miss Estefani's participation will be a big help. It sounds like, you need her more than she needs you. Candidates for a drug like this must be hard to find. You need her if you want your data to show anything whatsoever. Quite right, which is why we're so lucky she came to Edenbrook. I doubt she'd consider her situation lucky. The point is, you have vested interest in her joining the trial. This isn't for her sake, it's for the sake of the study. It's for the sake of everyone suffering from these illnesses, including her. Ethan makes an annoyed sound and goes back to reading the pamphlet. A few moments later, he looks up again, eyes blazing in anger. He says the patients have to discontinue all other treatments for the duration of the trial. Wait, Suzette can't begin her management regime? If we don't start her on that now, she could deteriorate. Oh, but this could be proved to be the cure she's looking for, and it's only a short time. I made sure to let her know we expect results very soon. So either you're going to rush the trial or you're overpromised to our patient and given her false hope. I prefer to see it as setting ambitious goals. I'd wager your team feels the same way. It's not ideal, but I think it's worth a shot. You do? This is Suzette's choice. Besides, possibly the trial might improve her prognosis. Possibly, but highly unlikely, and in the meantime she might deteriorate significantly. What about you, Dr. Valentine? What's your vote? I think Ethan's right. The drug isn't even designed for her condition. I think the chances that it helps her are almost nil. The chances that it hurts her are much higher. Ethan nods at you, the lines of his face softening. Harper frowns thoughtfully. You surprise me, Dr. Valentine. I thought you'd see greater good we're trying to accomplish here. I suppose I'm sorry you all feel that way, but the decision has been made by her. She will remain your patient until further notice. So much for democracy. Oh, I still value democracy. It so happens that, in this case, Suzette's vote counts for much more than ours. That's settled then. I'll leave it to you to handle the logistics of shepherding her through the trial. Ethan quietly sees the muscles in the jaw working overtime. He takes several deep breaths before responding. Understood. Oh, I've said it from day one. Bloom Edenbrook is in the business of making the impossible a reality. You'd do well to remember that, Dr. Ramsey. With that, Bloom sweeps out, whistling to himself. The three of you look at each other, expressions still shocked. The silence lingers. So, that was unexpected. Want to talk strategy? Ethan huffs and stands up from his desk, heading to the door. Ethan? Forgive me. I'm afraid I'm not feeling very chatty at the moment. I need to walk to clear my head. Casey, would you mind speaking to Baz about this situation? I imagine he has more insight into this trial than we do. Of course. Are you alright? I'll be fine. I just have to figure out what I'm gonna do next. Bloom did make his intentions pretty clear, Ethan. He said it himself, it doesn't matter what I want or what Bloom wants. In the end, the patient is the one who decides or needs this decision. And with that, he leaves the office. In silence, you and Harper exchange confused looks. You head into the research lab and find Baz poring over a stack of papers, brow furrowed in concentration as he looks up and sees you. However, a sunny smile lights up his face. Ah, Casey, it feels like forever since I've seen you. It's only been a few days, but I know what you mean. I'm not interrupting anything, am I? Oh, nothing I can't come back to. The new trial I started is just getting back some initial data. Oh, that sounds interesting. Are you liking lab work? Honestly, it's been absolutely amazing. If there's something I'm curious about, all I need to do is devise a study protocol and I'm in business. And you don't get a little, well, bored? Never. You can't believe the tools we have at our disposal here. It's a science nerd's paradise. That's good to hear. What are you working on so far? Right now, I'm still sorting out what precisely to study in depth. This data should hopefully point me in the right direction, but I'm confident I'll find something worthwhile to follow up on. After all, there are endless opportunities to make a difference in medicine. Anyway, what brings you down here, besides chatting with your beloved former colleague? I'm actually wanted to ask you about one of the studies the lab is running right now. It involves one of our patients. Oh, tell me about it. You quickly fill him on the patient and Bloom's pronouncement. Whoa, I can't believe that went over well with Ethan. You would not be wrong. What do you and Harper think about it? Harper was willing to go along with it, and I'm in with Ethan. I don't want Bloom coming in and meddling with our team or our patients, and besides, there's too much risk to our patient and no guarantee of success. How can I help? Ethan thought you might have more insight into the study's goals. We couldn't tell whether Suzette was a good candidate, honestly. I can't say much about the study in particular. We're all pretty siloed. But amyloidosis is exactly the type of disease Bloom wants more studies on, so I'm sure it'll have tons of resources thrown at it. Wait, what? I thought all the researchers were pursuing their own interests. We are, but if your interests align with certain areas of focus, you can expect more support, faster data analysis, the whole 9 yards, really. What are these areas of focus? Anything that focuses on improper production or retention of bodily compounds, faulty or overreactive immunoresponses, basically diseases where necessary elements are missing, build up, or where the body is attacking itself. Basically, anything that might help him and his wife. They can't touch each other because she's allergic to the compounds his disease creates. Oh, what a sad case that is. Sure, but is that really a reason to force this entire research department to find a fix for their problem? Well, like I said, he's not forcing anyone, he's just pushing hard. But we all still have the final say over what we research. And even if his main goal is to helping his wife, it would help other people too. He has the resources to make major advances. That's why I'm so excited to be here, and with the work I'm doing, I have a chance to make a real difference to people. You were already making a difference in diagnostics, Baz, for people who had nowhere else to go, remember? Well, you do have a point there. An awkward silence descends for a moment as Baz looks down at his feet. Baz, I have to say, I still can't fully understand why you left the team. Your knowledge of immunology is encyclopedic. It still comes in handy in research, though of course the stakes are very different. Don't get me wrong, I know research is appealing to you, that you love drilling down the details, but it was so sudden and you never mentioned wanting a research career before. Honestly, I still don't know what to make of it. Plus, you didn't put in your 2 weeks' notice. He nods, acknowledging your point. To be frank, I'd never considered a research career before. I loved working in diagnostics, the chance to help people who really needed answers. But Bloom really sold me on the fact that research satisfies that same curiosity, but with this same potential to help so many more people. Wait, are you saying that Bloom pushed you into going into research? Well, didn't I mention that? I figured you knew, I guess. He'd been helping a lot of doctors find their true passions. That sounds, suspicious. He's already meddling with the way diagnostic team works, and now you're telling me he actively convinced you to leave us? Well, it wasn't like that. He made me aware of all the opportunities available. Just be careful, Baz. I don't know what Bloom's up to, but I definitely don't trust him, and you shouldn't either. Thanks for the warnings. I'll be sure to keep my eyes open around him. But for what it's worth, he's never been anything but supportive to me. I know he's strong-willed, but I think his good intentions are, well, genuinely good. I hope you're right. You say your goodbyes, give Baz a warm hug before leaving, but as you exit the lab, you can't help but feel trouble. Was Bloom really trying to help Baz and those other doctors find their passions, or is this something more sinister going on? You're heading off to start your rounds when a familiar voice is heard from a patient's room. What the hell, Jade? She's your patient, not a pincushion. Sorry, my hands just got a little shaky. She's new to this, Esme. Stop making her nervous. In fact, here, Jade, let me help. Curious, you pop your head inside to see what's going on. Find Esme and Jackie flanking a young intern who's looking back and forth between them like a deer caught in the headlights. If setting an IV is making her this nervous, that's a problem. I only... Relax, Esme. You'll get it next time on your own, right, Jade? Oh, yes, definitely, Dr. Varma, I promise. That's the spirit, Jade. Why don't you keep moving on your rounds? Esme and I will catch up with you later. The new intern scurries out, brushing by you in her rush to escape. Esme and Jackie notice you in the doorway. Hey, Casey, long time no see. Oh, just the woman I wanted to see. Back me up on this, will you? Back you up on what? The intern? Yeah, I need some help reassuring Esme here that the world isn't gonna end if Jade can't handle an IV. Her first time out of the gate. Honestly, I'm with Jackie. You're gonna have to walk me through your reasoning, Casey. I don't remember you stepping in and doing my IVs. Yes, Jade needs to learn, but she only just started. A few mistakes doesn't mean she's doomed. Plus, knowing Jackie's got her back and isn't judging her might help her calm down and focus next time. Exactly. When I started, I was freaked out too. I wish I'd been more willing to ask for help, and I just want Jade to know she can. Tell that to the patients who'd had to endure her learning curve. Remember what Mitch was like? Jade's never gonna get any better if she feels like she can always has an out. Jade is not Mitch. Not yet. I'm sure Jade will catch on soon enough. Or she won't, and we'll fire her. Dramatic much? Esme shrugs. Jackie rolls her eyes, staring at Esme with an obvious annoyance, and forces herself to take a deep breath and turns to you. Casey, are you okay? You seem a little distant. It's been a very tumultuous day. I still don't know what to make of any of it, or of Bloom. Oh, good. Office gossip. I could use a distraction. Lay it on us. You quickly fill them in on the morning's events. By the time you're finished, they're both pensive. That's definitely sketchy, to say the least. Did you recommend her for the trial or something? No. It was all Bloom's doing, and none of us were there to see exactly how he chose to persuade her. Oof. That's not awesome news. You know the weirdest thing? I just learned Bloom convinced Baz to swap to research. Really? I just assumed he was following Zaid. Nope. He told me that he'd never even considered research until Bloom started encouraging him to give it a try. Don't get me wrong, Baz seems very happy with the work he's doing. But he would have never left the diagnostics team without someone giving him the idea in the first place. Exactly. Bloom deliberately turned him in the direction of research and away from us. Yeah, it sounds incredibly shady to me. On that point, agreed. Bloom's clearly got something going on. The worst part is, without knowing about the protein he's studying, I can't even be sure whether this might be really good for Suzanne. Or if it's Bloom being self-serving. Sounds like you need to get more information. Jackie each raising eyebrows as Esme continues. You didn't hear from me, but I saw Bloom heading out to lunch with a board member, which means his office will be wide open for at least an hour. Are you suggesting we break into his office, Esme? To your chief resident? I'm not an intern anymore, Jackie. You can't scare me with that. Good, because I happen to think it's an excellent idea. Casey, what do you say? Want to see what Bloom's really up to? Thinking of Bloom's office with Jackie to find out more about what Bloom and what research trial means for your patient. Let's do it! Amazing. Just when I was thinking this new work-life balance would bore me to tears. We'll need to be quick. We can search faster with the two of us in there. We'll need to look out in case Bloom comes back. I can handle that. I knew I could count on you, Esme. What can I say? Clearly your influence as a teacher stuck with me. I mean your bad influence, if that's not clear. Alright, let's not waste time. Operation Bust Bloom is a go. A few minutes later, Esme takes up her position at the door while you and Jackie slip inside of Bloom's office. This is amazing. I feel like some sort of secret agent. Hey, if you're gonna break the rules, may as well have fun doing it. Dum 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 dum. Alright, where should we search first? Let's look in the wall safe. Jog on the door, but it's locked tight. For the record, I know I have a rebellious reputation, but I don't know the first thing about safe cracking. Well, I have a stethoscope. I can do the thing in the movies where I listen for the pins to drop. This I have to see. You lean against the wall beside the safe, put on your stethoscope, and place the bell against the safe door. Carefully, you start rotating the dial, straining to hear. I think I need a photo of this. Shut up. While you have your phone out, maybe look up how this is supposed to work. I'm not hearing anything. Jackie consults the internet. Jesus. While you continue twiddling and listening, after a moment she starts chuckling. So, what's the secret? The secret is that the stethoscope method only works on ancient crappy safes and not on modern top-of-the-line ones. You step away from the wall and look at Bloom's very modern, very top-of-the-line safe. Okay, so what does work on a safe like this? 3 years training in locksmithing, a diamond drill, and a bag full of explosives. So basically, I have to be 007. Okay then, I guess whatever's in the safe will have to remain a mystery. Well, work on your spy skills. What's next? Let's look in the bookshelf. Bloom shelves are stacked full of texts on business, medical, administration, and tech. Your eyes skim over the technical title after technical title until you spot something very different on the shelf. Oh. It's a double picture frame of Bloom and his wife, Caroline. On the left is a faded picture of the two of them around your age, hugging in front of the Eiffel Tower, staring in each other's eyes and smiling. On the right is a recent picture of them in the exact same pose and place. They're in the 70s, but their expressions haven't aged a day. That is genuinely sweet, and kinda sad too. They must have taken this before they both got sick. Now they can't even touch each other. Hey, what's that? She points to a folded piece of paper stashed carefully under the picture frame, almost hidden from sight. Gingerly, you fish it out. It looks like a letter from his wife. Let's read it. Good idea. If his plan involves a cure for her, maybe she knows something about it. You fold the paper and begin to read Caroline's writing. My darling Leland, your last letter made me blush like I were a schoolgirl again. It's a gift waking up every morning with a note from you on my pillow. But it's a sad substitute for having you in my bed beside me, listening to you snore, waking up to your smile and a cup of tea. I nearly slipped yesterday at breakfast. You looked so earnest and eager, telling me about your plans for the hospital, that I almost reached out and squeezed your hand. I'm so proud of what you're doing, darling. You won't just help me, you'll help everyone in a situation like ours. If anyone can beat this, it's you. Still, the selfish part of me is only dreaming of being with you again. The day you can take me in your arms and... Oh, okay, mine. What? What does it say? You don't want to read it. It gets really intimate, like, really. Oh my god, let me see. No, you don't. No. Listen, two really old people making out. It's like taking two dead fish, just slapping them against one another. Listen, I had to do it. If you ain't laughing, I don't know what to tell you. I had to break you. Before you can react, she snatches it off your hand and reads the rest, her eyes widen. Oh my god, that man who, this is the man who signs my paychecks. I had no idea Bloom was that passionate. Or that flexible. Oh, okay. As you sigh as you glance at the picture again. All those years together, and they're still that madly in love with each other. Just can't get the image of two fish out of my mind. You fold the paper, noticing it's careworn creases. Bloom has clearly handled this letter many, many times. You carefully put it back in its place of honor beneath the photos. Whatever his Bloom faults may be, whatever lies he might be telling, his love for Caroline is 100% genuine. But because of that love, he's forcing the entire hospital to dance to his tune just for the chance of saving her. It's a selfish motive, but true love is pretty good as far as selfish motives go. Even I can't argue with that. Besides, it's more than just saving her. His love for her is leading him to try and advance medicine, which everyone can benefit from. That's great and all, but I thought we were worried about your patient, not Bloom's love life. Good point. Let's look in his desk drawers. I bet he's the guy who's so arrogant he doesn't even lock it. Here's hoping your secret agent instincts are right. Jackie grins as she easily tugs open the first drawer. Oh my god, this is even better than I expected. She lifts her hand up to hold a rather wispy-looking toupee. That's embarrassing, but not exactly useful at the moment. The two of you keep rifling through the drawers, but all you find is paperwork and one other thing. I found this other secret, deep, dark secret, Jackie. Jackie bursts into a choking laughter as you hold up a grinning pair of false teeth. Oh man, it's gonna be tough talking to him seriously after this. Why are people shocked that old people have false teeth? Like, listen, be lucky if you have real teeth past like the age of like 40 or 50 and you have all of them. I just want to put that out there. Just remind yourself, he literally owns all of us. Ugh, good point. Alright, moving on. Well, at least some of his dignity's intact. You look around, unsure where to turn to next. What about these filing cabinets? I'll take the right side, you take the left. Bet you $1 that I find something earth-shattering first. You literally thought a toupee was earth-shattering. I'll take somewhat disconcerting in a pinch. You start painstakingly flipping through the files and quickly realize you're going to be here a while. So, Jackie, how are things with the interns? Amazing. As you saw, it's not all smooth sailing, but it's nothing I can't handle. I think it's great you're boosting interns. I'm glad at least someone sees it that way. It's just every time I talk to the interns, I see how eager they get. They want to nail it so badly, I just want to help them get there. Well, they're lucky to have a chief resident like that. You should get to know Jade. She's totally like Mini-Me. Oh, also, for one thing, Jade had to work all through high school and college to help the family and save up for med school. Wow, and it was the same for you? Yep, it's hard breaking into medicine when you don't have the safety net. I had to work my butt off for every dime and scholarship I could wrangle, and so did Jade. That's why I want to help her succeed. She's earned this. I don't want anything to get in her way now that she's so close to the finish line. Well then, be careful not to over-identify with her. I'm sure she's smart and talented, as you say, but if you identify too much with her, you're not going to be able to give her the teaching she needs. I really don't think that's an issue, but I do see your point. I'll keep it in mind going forward. You move on to the next drawer in the filing cabinet, quickly realizing all the files there share one important feature. Jackie, these are the impatient files for Suzette's study. Is her file in there? Estefani Suzette. Found it. You flip open her patient file, turning the pages until you find the information that you need. Clinical trial is a fucking placebo. Oh no. Suzette's been assigned to the control group. It won't matter if this drug ends up doing everything Bloom promised and more, because it won't be a cure for her. She'll only be assigned a placebo. Ugh, that sucks, Casey, but at least we got the information we came for. I need to tell Ethan about this right away. He was right, we both were. This whole trial will be a waste of time for Suzette, and she doesn't even know it. You snap a quick picture of the file, and Jackie nods affirmatively. Well, let's get the hell out of here while the getting's good. So, find anything good? Not exactly good, but definitely useful. Even better. And thanks for helping me out of this. It could change everything for Suzanne. Anytime, especially if you promise I get to play spy again. Smiling, you wave goodbye, hurry down the hall to share what you've learned with the team. Here's a question for you watching. Do you even know what a placebo is for in terms of clinical trials? If so, let me know in the comment section below. If not, I'll let you know at the end of this video. If I remember to. You find Ethan poring over the patient files, a frown furrowing his brow, while Harper looks on. Not this one. No, not this one either. What, none of them sound interesting? Most of them have sounded interesting to me. But we have to be careful now that we know Bloom might go behind our backs and manipulate our patients at any point in the process. We can't risk him giving false hope to more patients, or using them to further his own ends. I need to find a case where he can do damage. Sounds to me like you're losing sight of the patients, Ethan. I'm doing this because of the patients. We're here to help them, Ethan. Not decide whether or not this or the trial is worth their time. Every minute we waste trying to thwart Bloom is a minute we could spend on patient care. I agree with Casey. Besides, not all hope is false hope. Some trials are successful. But the majority aren't, and these aren't even official trials, just exploratory. Do we really believe Bloom is informing them of how unlikely success is? If protecting our patients from Bloom means not treating them, I'm not sure we're helping them any more than he is. Ethan sighs and pinches his brow. When he looks up again, his expression is softened slightly. You might be right, but I don't want to set someone up for all the extra pain and heartbreak if I can help it. Moving on. Did you learn anything from Baz, Casey? Oh boy, did I. Apparently Bloom is fast-tracking any research projects focusing on harmful compounds, reactions, or immunoresponses. You mean anything that might have a chance of curing him and his wife? Still, anything he uncovers will help treatment of those conditions in general, and they don't get enough attention. It is very true. That's not all. Apparently Baz didn't decide to go into research on his own. Bloom strongly encouraged him to make the switch. So, Bloom poached Baz from the team? Does Baz know why? Does it matter? We're all just pawns to our new leader. Especially the patients. While you were doing your rounds, I spent more time digging into the preliminary data on this compound. It's not even intended to bind to amyloid proteins. They're only including patients like Suzette on the off chance it acts in ways that they hadn't anticipated. And welcome to medical trials. So you're saying... the chance it does anything for her is slim to none. Actually, it's even worse than that. I was able to get a look at the patient files. Suzette's been put in the placebo group. Oh no. Are you absolutely certain? You nod mournfully. Ethan gets to his feet, pacing behind his desk with a frown. So, she'll be delaying regular treatment, getting her hopes up, and there's no chance whatsoever this can help her. In 6 months' time, she'll be back to the starting line, dispirited and behind on her disease management. I knew Bloom couldn't be trusted. I have to get our patient out of this trial. I have to do something. Ethan, I don't think there's anything we can do. Suzette has made her choice, and we have to respect that. I don't like this any more than you, but I like the idea of antagonizing Bloom even less. He's got too much power. So we just let him win? No, we pick our battles. If we let Bloom have this one, then we'll be in a better position to fight for the next patient when it counts. Ethan shakes his head, his face contorted with frustration. Harper sighs and gets up to leave, putting a comforting hand on his shoulder as she passes. Let it go, Ethan. There are other patients to help. She slips out, leaving you and Ethan sitting in silence. Finally, Ethan shakes his head. Harper's wrong. Still talk to Suzette, convince her to drop out of the study. You mean go behind Bloom's back? Turnabout's fair play. Besides, as Harper said, it's Suzette's decision. Would you join me? You're always so warm with the patients. Suzette would be more willing to listen to a friend. Help Ethan convince Suzette to leave the risky research trial and trust her own instincts. Deal. Thank you. I don't know if I can be able to manage this on my own, but I'm absolutely convinced it's the best option. You and Ethan arrive in Suzette's room to find her staring thoughtfully out of the window. Noticing you, a warm smile spreads across her face, the same smile she had when she first met you. Dr. Valentine, good to see you again. Turns out you hadn't seen the last of me after all. Actually, that's sort of why we're here, Suzette. I'm sure you remember Dr. Ramsey. Of course, but what's made me the belle of the diagnostics ball? Actually, I wanted to talk to you about the research trial you're enrolled in. Must be my lucky day. I had some questions I wanted to ask about it. Then you exchange a glance. Do you want to discuss it over lunch? You're free to come and go from the hospital as you please. It would be my treat, of course. Free lunch, good company, and a chance to stretch my legs. Sounds like a win-win. Any recommendations? I know a great place for sushi. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Let me get changed, then you can lead the way. I know no places for either three of those foods, but I digress. Three of you take a short walk to a sushi restaurant near Eden Brook. You slip into a booth, thumb through the menu while a waiter approaches and pours tea for you all. Welcome to Akatsuki Sushi. What can I get for you? What do you guys say to splitting a bunch of sushi and rolls? Sounds perfect. I can never pick just one thing when I get sushi. In that case, a chef's sampler for 3. While you wait for your food, you keep things light, catching up on the details of Suzette's life outside the hospital. And then she said, but Aunt Suzette always sleeps in the closet. She told me so. Oh man, your niece sounds absolutely precious, Suzanne. See? I would have said she sounds like a handful. Only once the food has arrived, then you've taken the first delicious bites, do you and Ethan get down to business. So, Suzanne, how do you wind up in the study? Suzette's chair dims slightly and she leans in a little. It's actually kind of weird. Mr. Bloom seemed to be almost recruiting me. Ethan raises an eyebrow and tenses a little. Is that right? I was just getting packed and ready to go when he came in to speak with me. Said I was perfect for the study. He was so persuasive, and it sounded like it was such a good chance of succeeding that I had to say yes, but to be honest, I'm kind of having second thoughts. You and Ethan exchange a meaningful look. What's bothering you about it, Suzanne? It's not one big thing. More like a lot of little things. For one, I couldn't find any information about the trial anywhere. Other than the package Bloom gave you, I assume. Exactly. And even that raised my questions, or more. They're researching so many diseases, and most of them are nothing like amyloidosis. But beyond that, I don't know. There was a vibe with Mr. Bloom. It felt more like a salesman than a scientist, if that makes sense. Suzette. You cannot do number 2. So in a medical world, you cannot tell someone they are part of a control group. You can actually lose your medical license, by the way. Just thought I'd share that with you. Suzette, Bloom is using you. What do you mean? Bloom's not aiming to cure amyloidosis. He's focusing on a different disease, and he figures the study can help him cure that. But then why am I in the study at all? Because the diseases he's interested in also deals with the buildup of proteins in the body. But I bet anything, the treatment is meant to target those specific proteins. Beyond that is an official government-regulated study. Trials like that usually take years of careful research, double-blind testing, strict adherence to rules. But Bloom isn't doing any of that. He's just calling it exploratory so he can do whatever he likes, letting things break until he finds what he wants. But I'm one of the things he's messing with to get what he wants. I knew it. I knew something was off. I can't believe he tried to trick me that way. Thank goodness I had you two in my corner. I had so many questions, but I don't know who to turn to for real answers. We're happy to help. Giving you the information to make your own decisions is part of being a doctor. Well, thanks to your information, my decision is to pull out of the stupid study and get back to my regular treatment. Yay. Beneath the table, Ethan slides his hand over yours, squeezing it once. When you turn, he's looking at you with a mixture of tenderness and gratitude. You can make it up to me later, you big lug. You squeeze his hand, relishing the warmth of his touch, before turning back to Suzanne. How's your treatment going, by the way? Really well, actually. I lined up a long-term care plan, and it's already making me feel a lot better. Actually had second thoughts about stopping the treatment, but I figured it was worth the risk to try and cure it for good. So your primary physician is satisfied with your progress? Super satisfied. He says my response to treatment has been excellent, and that the disease hasn't actually progressed that far. The careful management, he thinks I could live for a long, full life. When I think about Bloom putting me in that danger without warning me of the risks. He shudders at the thought. Ethan frowns, clearly troubled by the same idea, but you smile at her. So it sounds like you're watching your niece graduate. Could be in the cards after all. Speaking of that, I mean to tell you my sister brought the kids to visit the other day, and you know what they did. Minnie's dressed up in a cap and gown and said she was going to graduate right now so I could see. It was so sweet. I was about to cry. Until her little brother announced he wanted to do a grad date too, and then took her cap and flung it down the hall like a frisbee. I bet that was a hit with the nurses. The three of you laughed, the tense and somber mood dissolving. Before long, you finished a pleasant meal. I should get going. I need to tell the study administrator that I'm dropping out. Thank you again so much. She clasps both of her hands in heartfelt thanks. Once she's gone, Ethan sighs in relief. Thank you, Casey. You were a huge help. Oh, I'm sure you could have managed fine without me. I don't think so. I was so angry about Bloom's behavior that I would have had a hard time keeping my cool. But being near you always makes me feel calmer and more hopeful. Because I'm an amazing diagnostician, you mean? You are, but I actually meant the emotional effect you have on me. He reaches for your hand again, taking it in his. You were exactly as supportive and convincing as I hoped. You helped Suzette see for herself the right way forward. You can thank me with a kiss. You drive a hard bargain. Luckily, it's one I'm very, very happy to accept. From your cheek in one hand, he draws your face close and captures your lips in his. The pressure is soft, but it's enough to make you drift away. Ethan. Encouraged, he kisses you again, his breath hot against your skin, and you hum with pleasure, opening to him. You're starting to lose yourself in Ethan's lips, his hands, when... Can I, I'll just come back. I think that's our cue to get the check. I suppose we should be getting back, but you should know I intend to come back for seconds very soon. His smile thrills you, and you blush as he waves the waiter over to settle the bill. Back at the office, Ethan makes a quick call. It's confirmed Suzette's pulled herself out of the study. Bloom will be livid when he finds out. Do you think he could take it out on the team? He might, which is why I want you to act like you're completely in the dark if he mentions this to you. Getting Suzette to abandon the trial was my decision, and I don't want you to take the fall for it. Ethan, you should stay quiet too. If he comes sniffing, just act like you don't know what he's talking about. It's not like he's able to prove anything. An interesting strategy, but slightly hampered by my total lack of acting ability. Okay, then claim laryngitis? I appreciate the strategizing, but I don't think it will serve any purpose. Bloom's a smart man, he'll know I was behind this. Ethan shakes his head and sighs, a look of grim determination on his face. In any event, the battle lines have been drawn now, for better or for worse. He's gonna take your parking spot. An hour later, you're coming out of a patient's room when you spot Raph chatting enthusiastically with a muscular man who looks vaguely familiar. Raph notices you and waves you in over in excitement. Casey, Dr. Valentine, may I present you Pedro Cruz. A pleasure to meet you, Dr. Valentine. You might recognize Pedro as the pitcher for the Marauders. Oh. I'm guessing you play a sport. This is the first we've heard about this, but okay. Wonderful to meet you, Mr. Cruz. Likewise. I guess you must get a lot of athletes coming in for treatment, huh? Honestly, I have no idea. The team and I work on is pretty specific. But Raph here is a huge Marauders fan. He would know. I was just telling Pedro about the pennant collection. I'd better get going. It was nice to meet you, Dr. Valentine. Raph, I'll see you in 2 days. Remember, no overexerting that shoulder, and no lifting that arm above chest height. And remember when you need a drink of water or something. I know, don't raise a glass, just do a kickstand instead. On it. Pedro laughs and waves as he goes. Raph waves goodbye, a giant grin on his face. A local sports legend, huh? Will you be able to handle it without going full fanboy? You saw me just now. Clearly I won't. I'm a huge fan of the Marauders, and Pedro particularly. He does a ton of good in the community. Just make sure you don't get so caught up in the geeking out over the baseball that you forget to do his therapy. Don't worry. I'll save up all my fanboying for after our sessions are over. He's a huge star, but it feels like we kind of hit it off, huh? I know that sounds silly. Anyone who doesn't hit it off with you has issues that can't be fixed with physical therapy. Just don't tell Pedro that. I want him to think everything can be fixed with physical therapy alone. Your secret's safe with me. The two of you say goodbye, and you check your chart for the next patient. I got some free time. Maybe I could swing by the lab, check in with Elijah. He might know how Suzette's withdrawal from the trial has gone over. You arrive in the lab to find Elijah deep in a conversation with Zaid as they both examine the computer screen. As soon as he sees you, however, Elijah smiles. Well, well, well. Look who it is. Welcome to my domain. Last time I checked, none of you are even board certified yet. You don't need to remind us about the board exams, and we both live with Sienna. Besides, I'm mentally dividing the credit. So what brings you down to the nerd nest, Casey? I actually wanted to learn about the amoxicillin study. How did you hear about that? It hasn't even started up yet. Isn't it obvious? My brother is probably singing its praises right now to whoever walks in. Actually, it's because one of my patients was enrolled in the trial. There was a change in plans, and she had to pull out the last minute. I guess I just want to know how people took that. Oh, if that has, I haven't heard about it. But then I wouldn't, since I'm not involved with the study. Honestly, we've been too busy with our own study to keep up with everyone else is doing. On the plus side, it means we get to fully avoid office politics. Wow. Lucky you. Lately, my entire life seems to be one long chess game of office politics. Perhaps you should consider focusing on more important things, like, your patience. Zaid, listen, I'm about to shove these high heels up your ass. Believe me, I'd like nothing more. Ignore him. He's just mad he doesn't get to lord it over interns and residents anymore, that he's joined the nerds in the lab. Don't worry, I'm very used to ignoring Zaid. Oof. So it sounds like you're not anywhere near the amoxicillin trial. What are you two working on? I thought you'd never ask. To your amazement, Zaid completely lights up as he and Elijah start explaining their research. We synthesized a unique DNA-encoded protein strand. The theory is it could bind to nerve endings in the spinal cord and stimulate growth in nerves that were previously thought to be dead. Whoa, is it working? So far, yeah, it's working even better than we hoped. Take a look. They show you a large scanned image of a nerve cell with a cascade of data beside it. Huh. I have no idea what I'm looking at. You're looking at a potentially massive breakthrough in medical science. Honestly, it's easier to understand when you see the results. We've been working with paralyzed mice. Oh, poor little guys. Actually, Edenbrookus more or less saved their lives. Bloom knew how many of us cared about animal welfare. The animals we use for research are rescued from less ethical labs, and they have state-of-the-art care, food, and enclosures. You have to clear a bunch of hurdles before you can test therapies on them, and you can only continue if the animals show improvements. Well, that actually sounds really well thought out. We could bring one of them out to play with you. He loves people, and playing with him even calms Zaid down. He's not wrong. Play with the world's most adorable lab mouse and learn more about Elijah and Zaid's breakthroughs and Bloom's initiative. Oh, look at him, he's so white and cute. I just want to take him now. Please? I had a feeling you'd say that. Come with us. He leads you deeper into the lab. Zaid puts on his cape and follows. Yes, welcome to Frankenstein's lab. You look around in awe at the array of whirring machines and glowing surfaces. Oh, they weren't kidding about this lab. Feels like a sci-fi movie. I know, right? What do you think I'm so happy going into work every day? And here I thought it was the opportunity to do meaningful research. Well, obviously, but getting to live out my fantasy of being a science officer aboard the Starship Enterprise is pretty cool, too. Please, if I could. You should see if you can get them to film the next movie on location here. Oh, that would be amazing. Zaid, how about we? No. Yeah, I'm gonna persuade you eventually, though. Your eye is drawn to a wall of glass enclosures where several white mice are scurrying around in tunnels, wheels, and tiny play gems. Are these the stars of the show? Sure are. What do you think? You weren't kidding about the enclosures. They're huge, and there's so many. I don't know what to call them other than anemones? Or amenities. Shut up, god damn it, this is not the Little Nemo movie. Anemone. As part of the last protocol, that's all about the animals have ample living space and stimulation. Are they harmed at all? Never. One of the priorities of the lab is to be safe and ethical treatment of all animal subjects. On top of that, Bloom's instituted a hospital-wide protocol to use animals that were set for euthanization elsewhere, and once they complete a study here, we rehome them. In other words, not only are we making strides for research, but we're saving a ton of animals and give them a better life. If they make it through the studies. Really? That's wonderful. It's an ideal setup. You're happy, the mice are happy, everyone wins. I'm just surprised Bloom made it such a priority. Trust me, you're not the only one. He struck me as the type who wouldn't care about the animal test subject as long as he got results. But ethical treatment of lab animals has been front and center in the new overhaul of the research lab from day one. I know a lot of our colleagues have concerns about Bloom. I can't say I blame them, he's a very driven individual. Being driven doesn't make him a monster. I didn't say it did. In fact, his drive might lead directly to huge medical advances for thousands, even millions of people. No kidding. Even in the short time he's been here, he's changed so many things for the little better, at least in terms of what we do. I hadn't really thought of it that way. Anyway, enough serious talk. How would you like to meet my favorite mouse in the whole lab? Well, that's not a real question, is it? Beaming, Elijah opens one of the enclosures and brings out... Oh my god, let me love it. Let me love it now. Oh my god, he's adorable. I know, right? Isn't he the sweetest? Who's the cutest mouse alive? Stop it. That's right, not even Zaid can resist you. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, sure enough, I can't resist staring at the tiny mouse and twitching nose. Oh, he's so happy to see me. Here, Casey, you hold him and get to know him a bit. You hold out your hands and Elijah deposits a small, soft bundle of fur in your palms. I can feel his little heart beating. Hello there. Don't be scared. He sniffs the air. You take the opportunity to give him his chin scritches. His eyes closed in satisfaction as you tickle the soft, warm fur. Yes, scritches. Scritches. Is that supposed to be scratches, but little itches? Here, give him one of these treats. He'll love you forever. Sure enough, when you present him with a treat, the mouse grabs your fingers, takes the pellet, and begins happily munching. You stroke between its ears as it nibbles. Oh, he's so cute. What's his name? Male. White male. Number 4, shortened to, we're just gonna call him Wham. Yes! Yes! I nicknamed him Wham, but he really needs a new name. What'd you like to give him, Casey? Me? You bet. What about... Killer? He kills with the ladies. Watch out! What about Marshmallow? He looks like a marshmallow, and he's just the sweetest thing ever. I can't fault that logic, actually. Do you like the name, buddy? Are you a good little marshmallow? He loves it. Actually, your timing is perfect. Look, I might be moving on to a life as someone's pet soon. It's good he has a real name. What? What? Wow, a pet? Guess you weren't kidding about the rehoming thing. He tested out our new gene therapy and worked, and now he's too well to help the study. It seems fitting to send him to a good home as a reward. On that note, you have to check out our results, Casey. They're pretty incredible. Listen. Can I take him home? while you play a little with Marshmallow, dangling a string toy over his grasping paws. Elijah pulls up some videos on the computer screen. Alright, here we go. Marshmallow's home videos. Well, the first video shows a familiar white mouse quivering on a lab table. A gloved finger gently nudges his flank, and the mouse flinches and squirms, but otherwise doesn't move. Is that... Yes, that's white I mean Marshmallow. A few weeks ago, as a baby, he had a massive injury to his spinal column that left him completely immobile. Now, take a look at the footage we took earlier today. He cues up another video. Marshmallow is on the same table as before, but this time, when he's nudged, he takes a few tentative steps back. That's him taking his very first steps in his life. That's not evidence in favor of our therapy-stimulating nerve cell growth. I'd like to know what is. Whoa, that's unbelievable. You two are miracle workers. We're scientists, Casey. Oh, shut up and take the damn compliment. Well then, you two are some of the best scientists I've ever known. And that goes without saying. You think you catch Sage's usually grumpy expression? Soften a little bit. Thanks, Casey. This is something really exciting that could change so many lives for the better. And I'm so proud to be part of it. Is it something that could help you too, Elijah? I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say anything. What we're doing here won't apply to me. This kind of nerve growth doesn't have anything to do with my issues. Besides, I'm happy with my life as it is. Now that we have this lab, I'm actually in sci-fi, remember? Obviously this project is important to me, but it's because I want to help pay it forward and save other lives, the way mine was saved. And you think this research might do that? Sooner than I ever thought possible. Well then, I'm really glad you found something to work on that means so much to you, Elijah. I'd better get back to the rounds. Goodbye, Marshmallow. No! No, take him with you. No! No! Give Marshmallow one last pat before handing him back to Elijah and say, Elijah waves goodbye as you head out and you leave feeling heartened. Bloom's motives might not be totally pure, but even I can't deny that his initiatives are making a real difference to people. Not to mention that it's been ages since I've seen Elijah so happy. Clearly, there's more to Bloom than meets the eye. Transformers. As you emerge from the lab, your pager goes off with a single message. Return to diagnostics office ASAP. Did Ethan finally pick a new case? Why do I feel like he's been fired? When you arrive at the office, it's empty. As you look around in confusion, the door opens and Ethan and Harper walk in. Casey, I got your page. What's the emergency? Huh? I thought you were the one who page does. What? No, of course not. Harper? I didn't page you either, so if none of us sent the page, then who? Good, you all made it. I have some big news for the team. Ethan tenses immediately, throwing you a quietly worried look. Big news. Let me guess, you've eliminated patient care altogether. Shut up, Casey! What sort of big news? There have been a lot of changes lately. No reason to be afraid, Dr. Valentine, trust me. This is good news for the team. Good news for the team or good for you? Is there a difference? I'm trying to give you a chance here, dude. You may remember, I gave Ethan the chance to choose a new team member upon Dr. Marani's departure. Yes, I'm still in the process of doing. Are you? Because it's been over a week, and as far as I can tell, you've made no progress. Things take time. Of course, and I understand you want the perfect teammate, but as I keep saying, perfect is the enemy of good. And we are always working for the greater good at Bloom Edenbrook, and I decided to step in and move things along. If you swear, I swear to Jesus Christ, if you hired Chad. Wait, what are you saying? Please welcome your newest team member. Oh no. No. I bet you it's that prick. You may remember me, Casey. Bloom gestures to the door, it opens, and a familiar figure walks in. Oh my god. You. Okay, I thought one of two. Damn it, it wasn't him. Hello, Ethan. Dr. Tobias Carrick reporting for duty. Just when you thought you'd managed to escape Leland's machinations, he's throwing another curveball your way. Ethan's biggest rival. Will the team be able to weather the latest storm? Keep playing to find out. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And now share from below, links to social media, Discord, and if you like to support me and my content. Hopefully you all did enjoy the video. I do try my best, especially to entertain and whatnot. So let me get on to what I have to say. So, clinical trials. Yep. So you can actually lose your medical license if you inform a patient that they are in a control slash what the hell was it? The basically fake group. So basically placebo, excuse me, there's the word. If you inform a patient if they're in the control group, or if you inform them if they're actually in the real group, you can actually lose your medical license. That means you get to be no longer a doctor. So, and those things rarely happen because most doctors slash companies have kind of like this unspoken code. So the reason why they pick control groups is to lower the number of people who have a bunch of side effects. So if you had 100 people and 50 of which took a placebo, right? Well, none of them are going to have any issues. None of them. None of them. Like, a lot of people who do a placebo, they either say they don't feel anything, or some of them state that they have had some sort of effect. And then when you take that 50 and you put it off to the side, and then you've got the 50 that are taking the real drug, then you can, whenever you are mixing the results of what is going on, you can, and this is how medical science chooses to do its thing, is you can at any given time take those 50 people who are taking the placebo who are not reporting any negative effects. So no one on a placebo usually goes, oh my god, I'm having this, my arm fell off, okay, my arm fell off, holy crap, well, I don't think it's the placebo. I think you have something, so they state that it's not medically relevant to the test or the trial. So if something bad goes on, they add those placebo people into the mixture, and then they say, well, if basically 10 people out of the 50, that sounds pretty bad, had their arms fall off. But then if you've got 10 people out of 100, it's going to diminish what's going on now, isn't it? And that's how control groups are, and control groups are really, really stupid. So for everybody right now thinking, oh man, those shots that everybody's talking about right now, with the very, like, minute, minuscule, like, 20% fail rate, remember, control groups. Up that to 40%. Up the side effects. Double them. Welcome to how these things work. That is how medical science works. As someone who is very invested in these things, and I'm a person who continues to, and I stress to you right now as you listen, to continue to self-educate, do so. But without further ado, thank you all for watching, and you know what to do. Catch you all later. Peace out.